Last night, Twitter banned an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez parody account and the dude who was running it. We have this tweet from Will Chamberlain. Nearly 60,000 followers gone in a drop of a hat because of a non-existent parody violation since Office of Mike managed AOC Press. Clearly, Mike was trying to comply, and Twitter suspended him anyway. Favoritism to AOC? Anti-Semitism? What's going on, Jack? Well, let's explain what's happening. This is Michael Morrison. His account, as of the filming of this video, has been suspended. You may have seen him on Twitter. He had a decent amount of followers, nearly 60,000. He ran the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez press release parody at AOC Press. It says parody in the name. I'm the boss, you mad bro, parody. I don't know how else you could comply with the rules. The tweets from this account were absurd nonsense. It was very clearly a parody. Parody isn't against the rules. Now here's the thing. Twitter, you want to ban someone because you're confusing, because this account confuses somebody? Sure. Why did they ban his personal account? Now, sure, there's a possibility that there was a different account behind the scenes that was doing something. I don't know, but I doubt it. It appears, because we've grown to expect this, this account was regularly confused for the real thing. Twitter decided to get rid of it. If you were to ask me, it's political. 2020 is coming up. Okay? Look, Twitter overtly interferes in elections, period. There's not even an argument. Tommy Robinson and Sargon of Akkad. You might not like them. I don't care if you like them or not. They are running for MEP, Member of European Parliament. I think that's what it means. They had campaign accounts, not run by them, with just announcements about their political campaign. Twitter removed them. Think about what that means. Does that mean that any business where Sargon works is not going to be allowed to have a Twitter account? Oh no, it's not managed by him, but it's still associated. If Sargon opens a donut shop, are they going to ban Sargon's donuts? Where's the line? I get that he was banned personally, but what happens when they're running a business or doing something else in the public sphere? Here's the thing. You want to talk about election interference? This guy, Brian Sims, is also getting a ton of attention because he's apparently, like, more than once, I don't know what happened, he went to a Planned Parenthood clinic and was periscoping. He was live streaming. And he goes up to, like, an old lady and starts yelling at her. And there's another one where it's like, my God, dude. The old lady clearly understands because she's an adult. I think it's wrong to go up there and aggressively berate them. Challenge them. Stop. Listen, here's what I would do. If there's a pro-life protester, I'd be like, let's have a conversation right now. And then we would talk about it. And you know what? That would serve a couple purposes. You want to make sure that people can go in and out of the clinic without being shamed or upset or harassed? Sure. Let me have a conversation. And that will provide, a kind of a calming down for people. Right? This guy walks up streaming, yelling at this old lady, and then he comes, there's another point where he comes back, and he starts yelling at some some young kid who looks like he's maybe 16 or 17. He's offering money. He offers $100 to dox these people. Apparently that's not against the rules. Now listen, Alex Jones got banned from Twitter because he was berating Oliver Darcy. Is this guy going to get banned from Periscope? Well, he hasn't yet, and I have to wonder why. I have to wonder why this guy hasn't been banned. Now, here's the thing. There is a difference. This isn't the best example in terms of asymmetrical censorship because Twitter says they will allow politicians to break the rules. Okay, I get that. So here's what happens. This guy breaks the rules, and Twitter says, yeah, but he's a politician. It's important that people know he's doing this. Meanwhile, they banned the dude from AOC Press. This is from Human Events. We'll read through this article. But now let me make the point. If Sargon wants to run for office, they ban him. If Brian Sims is in office, they let him break the rules. They're creating a two-tiered system of haves and have-nots. If you're already a politician, you are protected. And if you want to be one, go fuck yourself. I shouldn't have sworn. Here's, someone's getting mad at me. So let's just read what Human Events has to say. This is full disclosure. This is Will's outlet. Actually, no. Let's just read Will's tweets. Will says, if we created a private right of action for wrongfully banned users, Office of Mike could run to the courthouse right now and get a court order forcing Twitter to immediately restore his account. It's time. Platform access is a civil right. There's also a process problem here. A 60,000 follower account is a six-figure asset. That Twitter seized from Office of Mike on a whim. $100,000 may be nothing to a $30 billion company. That's why they'll destroy a young man's livelihood for no reason. He then goes on to make a point about Brian Sims. But I want to make another point. You got a lot of people saying, but my private platform. Well, here's what's going to happen. This is all strangely convenient. At 6 p.m. today, I'm going to be having a discussion with David Pakman on both of our channels. We're going to stream it both channels about free speech and free markets. It's probably not really going to be a debate. So I think David put like debate in quotes because we're probably going to disagree on some things, but we'll probably agree on a lot of things. And I think the reason this is going to be rather important is because framing is the issue, right? So I made a post following a story about Motherboard banning Muslims. And the left, like people, like I don't want to say the left, but Twitter left, started acting like civil rights, but my private company or whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand how we got to the point where I can be tweeting about, Twitter saying we ban Muslims through an algorithm accidentally and no one cares. And then the left responds to me with, so what? It's a private company. That blows my mind. So going to the point about the $100,000 asset, Will's not wrong, and this needs to be clarified. There are a lot of people who use YouTube for business and career. Mumkey Jones will always get a shout out from me when something like this comes up, because Mumkey is a guy. If you're not familiar, he had 350,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, and YouTube just wiped him out. All of his channels gone. His career, his income, just wiped out. We can't have that. We cannot have a system where these companies encourage you to build yourself up, your business, your marketing, your promotion on their platform, and then they have the ability to just remove you. Now, of course, people are going to say, you enter into a contract with them, it's blah, 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 blah. I get it. But the point is, they're dominating. There's no other Twitter. Like, sure, there's Gab, there's Mastodon. But in terms of getting access to Donald Trump, no, I'm sorry, it's Twitter. So therein lies the problem. There's no other Facebook to go to. There are other platforms that are emerging. Good. The problem is, and I'll make this point, Gab tries launching and they get attacked left and right by media, by tech. Dissenter gets removed from browsers. So no, the market isn't solving the problem. I have never been someone who believed the market is going to solve everything, especially when you have a tech oligopoly taking over and restricting access to the public square. And you want to know, there's proof, absolute proof, that Dissenter is being unfairly targeted, that Gab is unfairly targeted. 4chan. 4chan isn't having its domain seized or its servers destroyed. It's not being blacklisted. And people know 4chan it harbors a bunch of bad conversations. But 4chan's been around forever. Why is it having no problem? Why is it that when a tech company wants to rival Twitter, all of a sudden now it's a problem? 4chan isn't direct competition with Twitter, but it's not too dissimilar. Gab is a direct competition with Twitter, and all of a sudden, all these tech companies pop up and say, no, not you. You're the bad man. So Will's got a point. Platform access, I'm not going to say I'm smart enough to advocate for platform access being a civil right, but I do think if these tech giants are taking over the commons, Amazon is taking over commerce, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Stripe have basically dominated financial transactions. Now Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are taking over the public square. We need a guarantee. And so one of the concerns, adpocalypse, for instance, right? And I actually have some thoughts on this. YouTube is worried that bad content means advertisers will leave. I disagree. I think the only reason that's the case now is because there's a choice. If the law stated speech is speech, well then YouTube will say, listen, it's us or what else, okay? You want to advertise on YouTube? Yeah, there's going to be naughty speech. It's legal. We can't do anything about it. If you want to advertise out in the street, if you want to hire someone to wear a sandwich board or twirl a sign, are you going to get mad when someone walks by yelling nasty things? Well, there's nothing you can do about it. You move. That's it. So there's a complicated process in that YouTube is algorithmically promoting content, which is different from Twitter. But the main issue here is Sargon and Tommy Robinson trying to run for office. Accounts wiped out. Not even run by them. Why? How does that make sense? That's not against the rules. It wasn't ban evasion. They weren't running the accounts. This is how crazy it's getting. You can't even talk about somebody else. If I made an account where I said, here's what Alex Jones is doing right now, they'd probably ban that too. We know that Facebook said the only way you can post InfoWars is if you condemn it. That's Facebook telling you what opinions you're allowed to have. You know what's really crazy is Will and I just did a video yesterday, a long interview. You should check it out. I'll put a card or I'll link to it in here. We talked about a half an hour, and Will's talking about how it needs to be civil rights. It needs to be a civil right, and that's for everybody. But what Will's arguing is that it should be a private right of action, which means, my understanding, if you get banned, you go to a courthouse, that you file an injunction, and then Twitter has to restore your account. There will be no regulators. It will literally be up to you to go and do it. Because if you rely on regulators, you get 50 people who are, falsely banned, then how is a regulator going to, deal with all that? No, it's got to be on the individual. But here's the thing. Aside from, Sargon and Tommy Robinson, and again, I'm not a fan of Tommy Robinson at all, okay? Sargon, I think, is all right. I think he's made a bunch of mistakes, and he's getting dragged through the press, and it's very unfair. But none of that matters. What matters is that they want to run for office, and Twitter said you do not have access to one of the most important platforms. The Supreme Court unanimously ruled this to be the case. Check out Human Events. I'm not making that up. Now you have somebody who's making fun of Cortez. Ridicule is one of the most effective ways to combat, or to make a point. Humor can argue against something. When Cortez says, like, a $21 trillion accounting error could have paid 60% of Medicare for all, you mock that, and then that mockery shows the counterpoint, right? It shows the absurdity of why what she's doing is wrong. I'm not doing this to rag on Cortez. I'm making a point about how parody accounts are an effective tool for arguing against someone you think is wrong. Twitter is removing this with election season coming up. They're removing this guy simply for having the account. He didn't break any rules. It's mind-blowing. Actually, no, it's not. No, we completely expect it at this point. So Will goes on to say Twitter shouldn't be trusted with the power to determine who gets to speak and who doesn't. And Jack Dorsey said he claimed that he believes everyone has a right to social media. Well, Jack, come on. I don't think Jack has any ability to do anything at Twitter. But maybe there's a simpler solution to all of this. Maybe I know that Twitter is an extremely valuable company, but I would just like to think maybe something can be done. If it's not just about conservatives. It's about people who care about free speech and free expression and liberty. Buying up shares of Twitter and just having that vote. You're not going to have control of the company or anything like that, but maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe it's not. But I will end with one more thought, right? We'll go down to the bottom of Will's point. He mentions a conversation we had, and he said conservatives are operating under a sword of Damocles on the most important platform for political speech in the world. Leftists are not, because Twitter is run by leftists. It doesn't have to be this way. Platform access is a civil right. So I think if you are going to be to the point where Twitter is, at a certain point, something becomes a utility. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means taxpayer funded. I don't know. What I do know is we have two problems. Twitter is maintained by advertisements. Advertisers don't want to be on certain content or on a platform with certain content. I made the argument earlier, if Twitter has no choice, the advertisers have no choice either. However, then you have the problem of what does Twitter choose to promote? How does it do it? It's a really, really weird thing, because if we consider Twitter to be a public square, what we're effectively saying is that Twitter has a right to go into town. Like, imagine this. We all gather in town center to argue, and then some guy who owns town center pops up with a bunch of hot dog advertisements. So it's kind of a weird thing. Twitter could still effectively flood your feed with promotions, and you can't do anything about it. So it is a complicated problem we're facing. But I will say, if we are developing this. This is the civic process. We are developing the new ideas and rules for how this technology will play a role in our society. We don't just innovate technology, we innovate culture. And so right now, these conversations we're having are going to shape the way that we move forward. We may call it something like, we'll have a word for it. You look back, and we have words for a bunch of different ideas that were created. Governmental systems, corporate libertarianism, right? We understand what that means when you say that. But a couple hundred years ago, it didn't mean anything. Over time, these ideas, ideologies, and philosophies were shaped and then given a name, and the name now encompasses what it is. So you kind of like memify a concept. Eventually, we will have this, if we do nothing, we will have technocratic oligopoly. We will have technocratic fascism. Massive, global, multinational corporations who choose what you can buy, what you can say, what you can think, what you can see. Yes, technocratic fascism. That is a new idea that we are moving towards. But we don't want that. We want technocratic liberty. No, I'm sorry. We don't want technocratic anything. We want, no. Maybe democratic technocracy isn't necessarily the worst thing. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar, technocracy is a government, regulated through technology. But democratic, technocratic republicanism, representative Republican technocracy. It's complicated. The point is, we want to be able to, we need to make sure everyone can use technology to be on an even playing field. Otherwise, you're creating haves and have-nots. And in a society like ours, where we've said everyone is created equal, everyone is equal under the law. Well, if that's the case, then we cannot allow platforms to pick and choose the winners. I'll leave it there. Next video is coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. I will see you then.